Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a video just to kind of talk about transition in general and what that entails for everybody. I don't think enough information or research is out there, or people are doing enough information or research. So I wanted to let people know that there are side effects to transitioning. There are side effects to hormones. There are side effects to things that you decide to do. So, for me personally, I transitioned almost 5 years ago now, in 2017. It'll be 5 years in November. And ever since I transitioned, I have medical problems that I did not have prior to transitioning. Now, does that make me regret my transition? Not at all. But I want to be apparent and honest with people that these things can happen, that you can have medical issues just from the hormones, just from transitioning. So for me personally, at least pretty quick, well, at least two after about 2 years on hormones, is really when the side effects or problems started to arise. So I have a very high red blood cell count. I have to give blood regularly every 2 months in order to keep that in check. My blood pressure went through the roof. I am currently on 3 blood pressure medications, and it is currently regulated, but I have to take 3 blood pressure medications in order to regulate that. My cholesterol also went up around year 4. I've gotten that under control now, but that's another issue. I've had issues with vitamin deficiencies, stuff like that, which I now take vitamin supplements for. But before I started transitioning, I was on a limited amount of medication. And now, even just because of my transition, including the testosterone, including the estrogen blockers, like, I am on a lot of medication. I think I take like 7 or 8 pills a day. So I just want to be clear. There are still side effects. It doesn't mean that I don't have a great life, or that I don't enjoy my life, or that I regret the things that I've done. But there are side effects for the things that you do. And you need to do your research, and you need to really look into everything. Like, before I transitioned, I watched so many YouTube videos about people transitioning, people detransitioning, the effects. I read them all. Plus, my doctor fully informed me of the effects. But I have read a recent informed consent paper from a distinguished university, and it left out some of the biggest major things on an informed consent paper. So yeah, it might tell you that you could have cardiovascular issues, you could have problems that men normally have. It'll also explain to you that there are certain things in your transition that will not change, or that will not go back if you decide to stop taking hormones or detransition. But I did notice that when I signed the informed consent paper 5 years ago, and I have found some that still reflect this, that there were 3 questions basically saying that, okay, here's all the side effects, and then at the end it said, there are no long-term studies done on this, and we don't know the long-term effects of this on many other things. And there were like 3 separate things that I needed to recognize, saying that I knew that there aren't any long-term effects on these studies, and we don't really know what the full effect of this will be years down the line on hormones. And we still don't to this day. I don't know why those were taken off a recent informed consent paper that I saw, but they are. And so when you get ready to make these decisions, or to fully make the decision to transition, you need to do all your research. You need to understand that there are side effects, that these things can happen to you, that it doesn't mean that they will, but it can, and it might, and you have to be prepared for that. And you have to be prepared for all of the changes, all of them. There are so many, it's like ridiculous. But a lot of the things that won't change is, after you get bottom growth, that's never going to go back if you decide to detransition or stop hormones. Your voice dropping is never going to go back to a female voice. Your facial hair is not going to just go away. It will be here. I think the hair growth would slow down, but it will still be there. Obviously, things that can go back is your fat redistribution, so back to like a little bit of a female figure. Your periods can come back, stuff like that. But For the most part, most of what you take hormone-wise or anything like that is irreversible. I continuously see people saying, oh, going off hormones, going back on and back off hormones is just part of the journey. And I don't think people are fully understanding what the full repercussions are of hormones. Like I said, did it save my life? Am I happy about the transition? I couldn't be more happier with my life. But it shouldn't be sold as a fix-all situation at all. You know, I spent years in therapy working through my issues prior to transitioning, prior to even thinking about transitioning. And currently I see so many people, detransitioners, many people who said that the one thing that they lacked was therapy, actual therapy, not affirmative therapy, not therapy where people are telling you to, yeah, you know, you can walk in and just say, I'm trans, I want tea, and they're like, here you go. No, like therapy, where they literally talk back to you and say, okay, but why do you feel that way? And is there anything in your past that could be making you feel this way? Because wouldn't you want to work through all those issues before you get to this decision of deciding to transition? Because transition isn't a cure-all. All those issues you still have in your brain prior to all that, that doesn't have to do with having gender dysphoria or not feeling aligned in your body, are not going to go away because you transitioned. All those problems will still be there after you transition. So if you decide, the best course of action, I personally think, is to work through them before transitioning. Now, I understand that some people might feel a rush to want to transition, to want to get it over with, to want to do it, to want to get it done now. But I transitioned at 34, late in life. There's many people transitioning late in life. Wait. Do your research. Go to therapy. Wait. There's no rush to rush on hormones, to rush to have surgery. There's no rush for that. Like I said, can this save lives? Yes. But there are many people who are going through this and who are detransitioning because they didn't work through all their issues. And they're finally realizing later, when they do go to therapy, that the reason why they transitioned wasn't the right reason. They transitioned because of some past trauma or something that happened to them. And then they realize that they are fully comfortable with who they are. So to me, I think it's best to work through all of your issues prior to choosing to transition. And that's just my personal opinion. I really hope that people will understand that and see this, and that I think therapy is very important, not just for transitioning, but for people in general. It is an important tool to help you through life, and it is a very important tool to help you through your transition. So please, before you decide to transition, before you decide to take hormones, before you decide to take that plunge, do your research. Talk to people, watch videos, read medical journals, read reports, read anything you can find. Watch videos about detransitioners, watch videos about people transitioning. Make sure you see all sides of the story before you choose to transition. That's all I have to say. Please do your research. Go to therapy.